But now it's assume you have that business case presented or prepared, and now what should you be thinking about before you actually go and seek those additional resources, or headcount or two, as Sam had mentioned. So the internal support, Sam touched on that, and I can't uh, enforce that enough. That it's really required to make sure that you have certain members of your team involved and aware of your plan before you actually pitch it. The primary ones, obviously, are the sales leadership and the finance leadership. And probably we should have a track on that previous slide for finance, because there are costs associated with this new channel of marketplace, in terms of the marketplace transaction fee and some other investments. So make sure that you are aligned before you head into that meeting. And then the second thing is, this is a motion that should be started small, to prove you can execute, to prove it's presenting or providing the value that you expected. So we'll often guide our customers who come to us and want to go all in on all clouds at the same time. We'll step that back and say, let's just prove the model for you first in that first cloud. And that cloud typically is decided based on why either or both where you're built or where your customers are. So where do they spend their money? And just start small. And then once you do that, start expanding by socializing wins, et cetera. Another big obstacle that we've seen is when sales commissions are in conflict. So what you cannot do is have a seller penalized for taking a transaction through marketplace. And the penalty would be, paying that rep instead of $100. If the marketplace fee was $5, then you would pay and reduce quota based on $95. That will stall this. So think about that. And also, from the very beginning, measure what matters. Use SMART goals. Quantify everything you can. Put the telemetry in place to measure those KPIs that you see are most fit for your organization.
And John, really quickly, I'm just going to add in here. I see Richard in the chat. You're talking about how you're just beginning to engage partners, so it's too early. But to John's point, this is a really great time because you can start tracking all this data. And the sooner you start to track this, the better. So you have a case come a year, two down the road, and you're not trying to backtrack. So start now.
Yeah, I would instill a sense of urgency. This is an ecosystem. This is the time of the ecosystems, which is relationships forming, business being transacted in more of a virtual world, which is fundamentally different from 10 years, 20 years ago. So if you're not exploring it yet, I would put it on your plan to at least understand how you could benefit or be impacted by that motion. So great question there, Richard, or comment. So presenting the business case. All right. So it's not just a couple of slides and get nodding heads in that room. It's actually ensuring that the leadership team is committed to this. So you want to have that as a prioritization. You want to set the expectations about interlocks with your channel partner, if it's AWS or Microsoft or Google or Salesforce. You have RevOps focus on KPIs so you can measure your own success, as I mentioned earlier. So you want to make sure you not only have a yes, but you have commitment. That's the way this goes forward, because then you have that big stick or the carrot that you can carry into the field. You can mention with your channel partners, et cetera. So make sure you have those ready to talk about in that presentation. Then it's go. So day two, and this is where there's never it's never too early. So what is that better together story of your company and that cloud provider? So where does your product help spin more disk, help consume more services from that provider? Because that's the end goal for the providers. Are your customers purchasing from them? Is your product helping them do more? So build that better together. And I'm thinking, Richard, this would be the great time to start thinking that one through. And don't be afraid of competitive products, because basically every data cloud company today, the hyperscalers have competing services. So you compete, you just need to work around that. Start getting your sellers involved, understanding that the co-sell motion is integral to success. So think about that as well. And even work this into your marketing, both court marketing and your outbound campaigns, and really helping people understand that, hey, you are available for sale through this marketplace. So these are our short list of topics that you should be considering when you're going into this marketplace motion, or if you want to advance the pace or the velocity of this marketplace motion.